The smoke still rose from the Jedi Temple. Obi-Wan Kenobi's starfighter touched down on the western platform, his heart pounding with dread. He'd seen the security recordings. He knew what Anakin had done. But he wasn't here for revenge. Not yet. Across the landing zone, a sleek starship hummed to life, and there, standing at the boarding ramp, was Anakin Skywalker. "Anakin!" The shout echoed across Durasteel ash. Anakin froze. Slowly he turned. His eyes, they were different, colder. Yellow flickered at the edges. "Master." The word came out flat, empty. Obi-Wan approached carefully, hands raised. "Don't do this. Whatever Palpatine told you, whatever he promised, it's a lie." Anakin's jaw tightened. "You don't understand. The Jedi betrayed the Republic. They tried to assassinate the Chancellor." "No," Obi-Wan's voice cracked. "Palpatine is the Sith Lord. He is the threat we've been searching for. He orchestrated everything. The war, the clones, your visions of Padmé." Silence. Anakin's hand drifted toward his lightsaber. "Padmé is safe," Anakin said, but his voice wavered. "The Chancellor promised. The Chancellor is Darth Sidious." The name hung in the air like a blade. Anakin staggered back, the weight of the truth crashing down. His breathing quickened, his fists clenched, and in that fractured moment, the galaxy held its breath. "Prove it," Anakin whispered. Obi-Wan's words cut deeper than any lightsaber ever could. "The visions, Anakin, they weren't natural. The dark side doesn't show the future, it plants fear." Obi-Wan's voice steadied, urgent but calm. "Palpatine is a Sith Lord. He's been grooming you since you were a boy." Anakin shook his head, backing away. No, he saved me. He believed in me when the Council didn't, because he was isolating you." Obi-Wan pressed forward. Every kind word, every promise, it was manipulation. He fed your anger at the Council. He made you distrust us. And when you were most vulnerable, most desperate to save Padmé, he offered you exactly what you needed to hear. Anakin's breathing grew ragged. Memories flooded back. Palpatine's voice in the Opera House, the whispers during the Clone Wars, the subtle poison dripped into every conversation. The Jedi were planning to overthrow him. Mace went to arrest him, Anakin, not assassinate, arrest. Obi-Wan's eyes burned with truth. And you know what happened when he resisted. You saw his power. Does that seem like a helpless old man to you? Silence. Anakin's hands trembled. The younglings' faces flashed through his mind. The trust in their eyes before. "I did what I had to do," Anakin whispered, but the conviction was gone. For Padmé or for him? Obi-Wan stepped closer, his voice breaking. "Anakin, you've been played. Everything. The war, the clones turning on us, your fall, it was his plan. And Padmé, she's not dying because of some vision. She's dying because you're making it come true." Anakin's knees buckled, and in the distance, a shadow moved through the temple entrance. Palpatine had felt the disturbance. Anakin arose slowly, fists clenched, every muscle trembling with volcanic rage. "He used me." The words were barely a whisper, but the fury behind them, it shook the Force itself. Obi-Wan sensed it, a shift. The darkness that had consumed Anakin moments ago now twisted inward, coiling like a serpent ready to strike, but not at him. "Anakin, he used me." Anakin's voice erupted, his eyes blazed, not yellow anymore, but filled with raw, unfiltered wrath. "I murdered children for him. I betrayed everything I ever believed. I destroyed the Jedi for a lie." Behind them, a cold voice echoed across the platform. "How disappointing." Emperor Palpatine emerged from the temple shadows, black robes flowing, his twisted face calm, almost amused. "I had such high hopes for you, young Skywalker, but I see your old master still holds sway over your weak heart."
Anakin ignited his lightsaber. Blue plasma roared to life. "You told me I could save her," Anakin snarled, stepping forward. "You told me the Jedi were traitors. You told me everything I needed to hear, because you knew exactly how to break me." Palpatine's smile widened. "And you fell so beautifully." "No more." Obi-Wan ignited his blade, standing beside Anakin. For the first time in days, master and apprentice stood together. The bond between them, fractured but not broken, flared back to life. Palpatine's expression darkened. "You think you can stand against me together?" He raised his gnarled hands. "I am the Senate. I am the Empire. I am the dark side itself." Lightning crackled at his fingertips. "Then we end you," Anakin growled. "Right here, right now." The Emperor's laughter filled the air, and the duel for the galaxy's soul began. Force lightning screamed across the platform, but it met two lightsabers, not one. The energy deflected, crackling harmlessly into the sky. Palpatine's eyes narrowed. He hadn't expected this. Anakin Skywalker, lost and found in the same moment. The chosen one, no longer his. "This changes nothing," he hissed, stepping back toward the temple entrance. "The Republic is already dead. The Empire rises, and you are both traitors now." Before either Jedi could strike, Palpatine vanished, dissolving into shadow and speed, retreating deeper into Coruscant. Anakin lunged forward, but Obi-Wan grabbed his arm. "Wait, he's baiting us. He's getting away." "No." Obi-Wan's grip tightened. "He's going back to the Senate, to consolidate his power, to make himself untouchable." He locked eyes with Anakin. "If we're going to stop him, we do it right, together." Anakin's rage simmered, but he nodded. They boarded Obi-Wan's starfighter, the temple burning behind them. As they soared toward the Senate district, Anakin's hands shook on the controls. The weight of what he'd done pressed down like a star destroyer. "The younglings," Anakin's voice cracked. "Obi-Wan, I know." Obi-Wan's tone was steady, not forgiving, not yet, but understanding. "We'll face that later. Right now, we stop him before the entire galaxy burns." The Senate building loomed ahead, its massive dome glowing against the Coruscant skyline. Inside, senators cheered, clone troopers lined every corridor, and in the center of it all, Palpatine waited. Obi-Wan and Anakin descended toward the landing bay, side by side. "One last mission," Obi-Wan said quietly. "One last chance," Anakin replied. The starfighter touched down, and inside the Senate chamber, Palpatine smiled. "Let them come." The Senate chamber fell silent as two Jedi strode through the massive doors.
Senators gasped, clone troopers raised their weapons, and on the central podium, Palpatine stood, arms spread wide like a prophet welcoming the faithful. "Ah, my old friends," he announced, his voice echoing through the chamber. "Come to witness the birth of the Empire." "It's over, Palpatine," Obi-Wan called out. "The Senate will learn the truth. You're a Sith Lord. This entire war was your design." Laughter, cold and cruel. "The Senate knows exactly what I am." Palpatine gestured to the surrounding pods. "And they chose me anyway. Safety, order, peace." His smile twisted. "They traded freedom for security, and they will never go back." Anakin ignited his lightsaber. "Then we end this the hard way." Emperor's face darkened. "So be it." What happened next was devastation. Palpatine moved like a storm, faster than sight, his crimson blade igniting mid-leap. He crashed into Anakin with the weight of a collapsing star. Obi-Wan intercepted, their blades screaming against each other. But Palpatine didn't fight like a duelist. He fought like a hurricane. Force lightning erupted in all directions. Senate pods ripped free, hurling toward the Jedi. The air itself seemed to scream. Obi-Wan and Anakin moved in perfect sync, covering each other, deflecting attacks, pressing forward, but Palpatine was relentless. "You cannot win," the Emperor roared, his power shaking the very foundations of the building. "I have foreseen it. The dark side is inevitable." Anakin felt it, the pull, the whisper, the seductive promise of more power. For just a heartbeat, he hesitated, and Palpatine's lightning found its mark. Anakin screamed. Pain, white-hot agony ripped through every nerve. Anakin collapsed, smoke rising from his robes. Palpatine's lightning didn't just burn, it corrupted, seeping into his very soul. "Yes," Palpatine hissed, advancing slowly. "Feel it, young Skywalker. The pain, the anger. You know how to end this suffering. Use your hatred. Strike me down and take your true place at my side." The dark side surged within Anakin, familiar, seductive, easy. All he had to do was let go, give in, become what Palpatine always wanted him to be. "Anakin!" Obi-Wan's voice pierced the storm. He stood between Anakin and the Emperor, lightsaber raised, his face bloodied but defiant. "Don't listen to him. This is what he does. He feeds on despair." Palpatine laughed. "Such pointless sentiment. He's already fallen once, Kenobi. What makes you think he won't fall again?" Anakin's hand trembled toward his lightsaber. The darkness whispered, "End him. End Obi-Wan. End everyone who doubts you. Take the power you deserve." But then another voice, softer, Padmé's. "You're breaking my heart." Anakin's eyes snapped open, not yellow, blue. He remembered her face in the security hologram, the horror, the heartbreak, watching him kneel before Palpatine. He remembered the younglings, the trust, the betrayal. He remembered who he was. "No." Anakin rose, shaking, every muscle screaming in protest. "I'm not your weapon anymore." Palpatine's expression twisted into pure rage. "Then you will die with your master." The Emperor unleashed a torrent of lightning, not at Anakin this time, at Obi-Wan, and Anakin had 1 second to make a choice. He leapt. Anakin's body absorbed the full force of Palpatine's lightning. Every cell burned, every muscle seized, but he held firm, his lightsaber raised, forming a barrier between the storm and Obi-Wan. "Anakin!" Obi-Wan's voice rang with anguish and pride. The Chosen One gritted his teeth, pushing back against the torrent. "Together, Master! Finish this! Together!" Obi-Wan didn't hesitate. He surged forward, blades singing through the air. Palpatine was forced to redirect, his lightning cutting off as he parried Obi-Wan's strike, and Anakin collapsed, gasping but alive. The Emperor snarled, his composure finally breaking. "You dare!" But now it was 2 against 1, and this time Anakin fought with clarity. Their blades became a whirlwind, blue and blue against crimson fury. Obi-Wan's precision, Anakin's raw power, moving as one. The Form 3 defense, the Form 5 aggression, master and apprentice perfectly balanced. Palpatine fought like a demon unleashed, his strikes fueled by centuries of Sith hatred. Senate pods exploded, the chamber crumbled, but for every attack he launched, the Jedi countered. "You cannot stop the dark side," the Emperor screamed with despair. "I am inevitable." "No," Anakin said, his voice steady now, certain. "You're finished." Obi-Wan feinted left, Anakin struck right, and for the first time in the duel, Palpatine stumbled. His lightsaber faltered, just for a heartbeat. It was enough. Both Jedi struck as one, a perfect cross-slash that shattered Palpatine's defense. His lightsaber went flying, clattering across the debris-strewn floor. The Emperor fell to his knees, rage and disbelief twisting his scarred face. Anakin and Obi-Wan stood over him, blades raised, and the galaxy held its breath. "Do it," Palpatine hissed. "Strike me down." Anakin lowered his blade. "No,"
he said quietly. "I won't give you what you want." Palpatine's eyes blazed with fury. "Fool, you think mercy will save you? The dark side will always—" Obi-Wan's lightsaber struck true, not to kill, but to disable. The Emperor crumpled, his connection to the Force severed by the precision strike. Silence filled the ruined Senate chamber. Clone troopers stood frozen, their inhibitor chips still active, but their master defeated. Senators watched in stunned disbelief, and across the galaxy, the war began to end. Bail Organa emerged from the shadows, followed by Mon Mothma and other loyalists. "Arrest him," Bail commanded. "The Senate will decide his fate." But Anakin knew the truth. There would be trials, investigations, and his own crimes, they couldn't be ignored. "Obi-Wan," Anakin turned to his master, his voice breaking. "I have to answer for what I've done. The temple, the younglings. I know." Obi-Wan's expression was heavy with sorrow. "But you chose the light when it mattered most. That counts for something." Days later, Anakin stood in a medical center on Naboo, watching through a viewport as Padmé held two newborns, Luke and Leia. She was alive. The visions, they hadn't come true, because he'd changed. Obi-Wan appeared beside him. "The Council is willing to offer clemency in exchange for your help rebuilding. It won't be easy. The galaxy will remember what you did." "I know." Anakin's voice was steady now, certain. "But I'll spend the rest of my life making it right." Obi-Wan placed a hand on his shoulder. "Then we start today, my old friend." Through the viewport, Padmé looked up and smiled. And for the first time in years, Anakin Skywalker felt hope.
3 months after Palpatine's defeat, Anakin Skywalker stood before the Galactic Senate, not as a general, not as a hero, as the accused. The chamber was packed. Senators from 1,000 worlds watched as the prosecution laid out his crimes in brutal detail. The march on the temple, the murder of younglings, the execution of separatist leaders on Mustafar. Though he'd never reached the planet in this timeline, the intent had been clear. Padmé sat in the Naboo delegation pod, her face pale but resolute. Beside her, Bail Organa whispered something reassuring, but Anakin could feel her pain through the Force. Every word spoken was another wound reopened. Obi-Wan stood as a witness, his testimony measured but honest. Anakin Skywalker committed terrible acts under the manipulation of Darth Sidious, but when confronted with truth, he turned back to the light. He helped destroy the Sith. He saved my life, and in doing so, saved the Republic. Yoda, one of the few Jedi Masters to survive Order 66, spoke next via hologram from Kashyyyk. "A difficult path young Skywalker has chosen. Punish him we could. Imprison him the Senate may decide, but waste his potential for good we should not." The debates raged for days. Some demanded execution, others called for life imprisonment, but a coalition led by Bail, Mon Mothma, and Padmé argued for a different path, restorative justice. Anakin would serve the galaxy, not rot in a cell. He would face his victims' families. He would rebuild what he'd destroyed. The Senate voted, and by the narrowest margin, mercy won. But it came with conditions. Anakin's rank was stripped, his status as a Jedi suspended indefinitely. He would wear a Force-suppressing collar during public appearances. He would work under constant supervision, helping to deactivate clone inhibitor chips, dismantle separatist remnants, and hunt down surviving Sith cultists. It was a sentence worse than death for some, but for Anakin, it was a chance. On Coruscant, at the ruins of the Jedi Temple, Obi-Wan gathered the survivors. Barely 24 Jedi remained, knights, Padawans, even a few younglings hidden away by brave clones who'd resisted their programming. "The old order failed," Obi-Wan admitted, his voice echoing through the damaged halls. "We became arrogant, detached. We served the Senate instead of the Force.
We ignored Anakin's pain instead of healing it. He looked at each face. We won't make those mistakes again. The new Jedi Code was simpler, more compassionate. Jedi could form attachments. Love wasn't the enemy, possessiveness was. They would serve the Force, not politicians.